I don't know.
Google.
One of the friends got hooked on Jake Ween's promo. I think,
Yeah.
like it was. I think the pro mods, the 2015 pro mods. So my first kendama was actually a Zach Yord pro mod, the Sassafras Tama with a beach can,
Yeah.
and I had no idea he was from Pittsburgh.
Oh, it's a beautiful kendama. I love that one.
It's one of my favorite. Still to this day, it's so dope.
Welcome in everybody to another interview here on Office Hours. Today I'm pleased to have my good friend Teodore Fiorina on the channel. Dude, probably one of our few Europeans that we've had on the show so far. A dude that I've worked with a lot in the recent years of kendama, but I don't know a lot about how he came to be and how we get to kick it with him. How he runs one of the largest European kendama events in the world, the EKC, and lands some of the gnarliest tap tricks that I can't even wrap my head around. My head around. What a great YouTube intro! Shucks, Tio, welcome
What's
into
up?
the channel, dude. How you doing?
I'm good.
Dude, I first teed every time. I said I had two heads. It'll just have to work, dude. It'll be okay.
It's perfect. Um, it, a little bit of jank is good.
It makes it real. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, dude, stoked to be here. Thanks for having me on, and yeah, I'm excited to hear what kind of questions you have for me and what kind of subjects we're gonna touch upon. I have a few ideas for sure.
Yeah, dude. Well, it's like, I had said earlier to you, we have worked together in the recent years, like, and become friends along that journey. And like me being in your hometown and just like hanging out, and I feel really close to you as a friend, in this few years that we've known each other. But I don't know a lot about you before these years. Like, I don't know where you came from, how you got on Jake's radar, when you became sponsored. Like, a lot of these things, I know that they happen, but it's like in the
Mm,
years and when and how. Um, is more what I'm excited to learn about. And the first question I always ask, and like the first thing that I always try to dive into on these interviews, is your childhood. And I want to try to learn about what in the world you did as a youngster, or what you think maybe you did as a kid that would have led you to a life of kendama. Like, what were your hobbies? What were the sports you played? What, give us a look into Tio as a young dude. And where did you grow up, by the way? I know you're from Leiden now, but where did you grow up for most of your life?
well, it. I grew up basically the most of like my, I guess like before 18 years. Let's say that's
Mhm.
how I'm gonna put childhood. Like
Yeah.
before I moved out. Um, was actually in France for the most part. But I was born in France, and then I lived in France for a little bit. Then we moved actually to America. Like my family moved to America for like 3 years
Whoa.
when I was like a toddler, like freaking, like
Yeah.
so young but they are like my first memories. Actually, my first memories are from like the US, like Chuck E. Cheese. It's like one of
Wow.
my
No,
first.
that's so crazy. That's
I
insane.
lived Yeah, I lived in the Bay Area actually. My dad was working for a tech company in the Bay Area,
Oh,
like,
cool.
even in a little town called Fremont, which now basically I think is the beat for Tesla or something crazy. I don't know. When I went back there, I was like, "What the hell is this?
Yeah, not the
Did I
same.
really do my first 3 years on this planet here?" In just it's right next to like Cupertino and San Jose and that kind of thing. And
Oh, word. Okay.
so I lived there for 3 years, and then I moved to Italy again because of my dad's job. But I was like from 3 to 8 years old or something, so I was speaking like Italian. Um,
No way. Like, that was your parents speak all these languages as well?
Yeah, my mom speaks all three, and then at home I was speaking French with my mom, English with my dad, and then like with my brothers like a mix of both. And then at school I was speaking Italian, and then like at football practice I was also speaking Italian. And then I moved to France at 8 years old.
Wow.
Um, so I was like I did 3 years of preschool in like three different countries. It was kind of it
Wow,
was
dude.
super
That's
weird.
actually crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, and then it was like in 3 different countries, 3 different languages, and then, yeah, and then at 8, I moved to France, and I lived there for 10 years in Toulouse in southwestern France, and then I went
Yeah.
to, like, this international school, so I did, like most of my schooling was in French there, but I had, like, English language and history in English with other international students who were, like, from mostly from England, but some from, like, Australia and the US, because Toulouse is the seat of Airbus, the giant airplane manufacturer.
Oh, really?
Um, so that's why they had so many internationals there in that school. So I did my French, like, high school diploma, and I also did, like, my A levels, which was, like, the English version, and then I also did the SATs, which is, like, all 3 of those,
What?
like, in one school kind of, like, thing. It's a crazy program, but yeah, and then at 18, I moved out, and I moved to the Netherlands basically for school, and then did some school, but I dropped out because I was like, "Well, Canal is taking a lot of time, and this is a lot more fun," and, I just worked a bunch of odd jobs, and then, yeah, EKC fell into my lap, and I was like, "Well, this is even cooler," and now EKC is, like, work like, it's like, not my full-time job, but, like, we're getting to a place where it's realistically, like, going to start being because of just how much time I put into it and, how how the team and the, like, organization is built. It's like running a Kendama event was not as, like, chill as I thought, and I didn't think it was chill at all. I didn't but it's become something even less chill, but also, like, the one of probably the most rewarding thing I've ever done,
Yeah, well, I think the less chill it becomes, it just means it's becoming more successful. So with success becomes more pressure and more responsibility. And I know that with NACO every year it grew to be something bigger than I thought it could be. But the team you have is important, and you have a good team, having good volunteers, a good infrastructure, and I think the European scene itself is so nuts. And I don't want to jump ahead too far because you just gave
yes.
me like the fast track of your whole life, which is epic. And I can't imagine, like, do you still retain Italian and French? Like, can you have full conversations and read and write in all those languages?
Yeah, yeah, like, French as good as English for sure,
Wow.
like, pretty much the same, and then Italian is rusty, but, like, I was just in Italy, like, last week, and I had conversations with people, um, the only thing, it's like when you're, like, an eight-year-old, you're not gonna be really talking about a lot of
Ye-
stuff that like, I
yeah,
don't know
that's relevant now.
a lot of the lingo and, like, some of the more complicated vocabulary is just
Yeah,
not there, but, like, when I'm
slang.
there, the conversation is super easy. I can read and, like, understand pretty much everything,
Mm-hmm.
and then, like, just some specifics, and then it's just about, like, it's just practice, I just need to practice, but m my brother, because I have 2 brothers,
Okay, are they
and
older or younger?
I have one older and one younger, and my
Oh,
older
cool.
brother, who now lives in the US actually, he was studying, in the US at university, and he had like, an exchange year, and he went to Bologna in Italy, and he did a year there, and he got, like, all of his Italian back and more. It's like and I know I could do that as well, but that's, like, maybe a future project where I could maybe go to Italy for an extended time and just get it all back and like, yeah, and that's incredible, and it's a blessing. I
Yeah.
mean, my parents, it's all because of them, you know? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
they're the one who moved there, and I was just, like, along for the ride, you know? Like, a free four-year-old, you don't really have but that does mean I moved a lot, like, when I was a kid, like, I would say, like, maybe 6 or 7 times in, like, 8 years. Like,
That's so insane.
by the time I was 8 years old, and, like, different cities all the time, because also between moving from these places, you know, you need time, so it's like like, I went to live with family in Paris for a little while before Italy or stuff like that, like, my
Mm-hmm.
parents were, like, all around, and now they've chilled, they've been living in the same place, for quite a while now, like 17 years or something,
In
but
France?
yeah. Yeah, they still live in Toulouse where
Oh,
I
cool.
grew up pretty much, and I go there, like, I'd say twice a year or something, one always for Christmas, I can never miss Christmas, my mom
Mm.
would kill me.
Yeah.
And then, like and then I try to go another time. Like, recently, I was there for, like, 20 days just dog sitting.
Really?
Like,
Like watching their crib?
yeah, dude, because my because so I have two brothers, and my little brother's in Tasmania and freaking Australia, and my big brother's in DC.
What the
So it's
heck? What kind of crazy family do you have, bro? Like, why
I
does no one
know
just want to chill? Why do y'all gotta go everywhere?
it's
Holy.
it was like that, and so I'm the closest one now, and I live like I don't know 1,000 some kilometers away. So it's like
Yeah,
still
crazy.
not that close, but that means like I told my parents if you need me to come do something for you
Hmm.
guys, and then they went to the U.S. to visit my family there, and like I have a bunch of family in Pittsburgh on my dad's side actually.
Wow, dude. That's
I don't think
insane. So
I
you
don't think
said
anyone really knows that,
no,
but it's a weird
definitely.
one. I have a lot I like my whole dad's side of family lives in Pittsburgh, so I was going to Pennsylvania every, like, other year as a kid, well, when we could, because it was hard getting 5 people over the ocean, of course,
Yeah.
but it's like we used to go to Pennsylvania to visit family, quite a lot. I have, like, aunts and cousins and stuff, and there's funny links to the Kendama world with my cousins, like,
No.
really funny. Yeah, yeah, yeah. One of my cousins, he went studying in Philly, and, so he's in Philly, and this bar he goes to has this bouncer who plays Kendama, and this bouncer's name is Kenjamin Franklin.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, and so he gets into this bar every time on my dime, just telling this guy, "Yo, I know Theo," and obviously Benjamin Franklin's
Yeah.
nicest dude ever, and
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, sure, come in." And then Josh Kim's roommate used to play Halo with my other cousin as well, and it's just like super random stuff where I'm like, "What the hell are these links?" And
No.
it's so weird,
All the people
like
in the world, and somehow through Kendama you meet people who know your cousins and stuff. It's actually insane.
yeah, like, for real, and it's, like, super random, and then
Dude.
I know there's also a kendama scene in Pennsylvania, but
Yeah.
I have not been in quite a while, actually. Even though I have been to the US, it's always been for, like, kendama stuff, so
Yeah. I mean, dude, Colin's from there, Yord's from there,
my
Skagline, Cody
they
Grizz.
they lived in the same neighborhood my other cousins live in,
Yeah, that's
in
they probably
Pittsburgh,
ran into those fools before any of them knew Kendama,
for sure.
honestly. Yeah.
I went I went to the same kind of like, last time I went to visit, I was going to, like, the places, like, like, breweries and stuff, like, that had kendamas in them, and, like or I knew that, like, Yord went to the high school next to my cousin's house or, like, the weird stuff like this, and,
Yeah.
like, they all grew up sort of close, and it's really funny, and, like, my cousin went to school with, like, Mac Miller and, like, Wiz Khalifa was in the like, it's
Oh, sure,
they all
sure.
grew up in that weird, like,
Yeah.
neighborhood of Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
and, it's super weird.
And somehow it
I
ties back to you in Leiden.
super weird. It's like they're all like they were all close, but I've never met Yord actually. And I only met the Sander brothers like once or twice, and I don't think I mentioned in passing. And then I know Skagline. Um, I told Skagline if I'm ever back in Pittsburgh, of course we
Yeah,
should do
yeah, of
something.
course, dude.
But I yeah, it's
So
crazy.
you said you traveled a lot, like a ton. You said you played football. Was that something that like was your connecting point at new schools and meeting new friends? Or did you do like yo-yos? Did you do anything else that was like a connecting point when you went to these new places to make new friends? Or was it like soccer, football that like kept you doing that?
I mean, I cycled through sports like crazy as well as a kid. Like
Really?
I did football, I did swimming, I did judo, I did like but more seriously, uh I did athletics and tennis and table tennis like
Oh yeah,
uh,
table tennis. You rip at
at a
ping pong,
at a
dude.
pretty high level when I was a kid, and I was like and then I also skated with the homies sometimes, but nothing too serious. And then but I did develop like a deep appreciation and like interest in skateboarding from even before Kendama. And like even without being the most serious skater, I was already like sort of versed in it. And I think that's more like beyond all the other sports I played because I think that helped me, of course, like getting into Kendama and like it's not always a given that you're a person who has the also that social touch
Yep.
within the thing because I meet a lot of Kendama players and other people in subcultures who discovered Kendama and loved Kendama, but like they didn't necessarily have the experience within a kind of sports infrastructure. Because even though we are a toy, yes, even though we are an art form, it's still a sport, and we still meet up and practice in a
Mm.
way. And that's sort of something that's like, even though we're adults and friends, and like it's not really like the most official kind of setting sometimes, you've
Yep.
been to European jams, you've seen it, super chill. But it's like, it's still, I think it helped me a lot to have that, like, that that experience, just getting into new clubs and
Mm.
like new sports and just meeting people like randomly. And like, I think that's what helped me a lot. And then my interest in skateboarding sort of helped me to see like the sort of value in kendama as a subculture. But and first off, I also played for 1 year without ever meeting anyone. Pretty
Oh,
much only the first, or like one or two friends from high school that I started with. But for a year, I just played because it was fun as well.
so you started
Like,
in high school in France?
yeah, 2015.
2015.
Yeah,
Okay. So
9 years ago.
what was your first touch point? How did you see it?
I saw some guy playing it in front of the school, and he actually got it from Amsterdam. He got it from David,
Of
the
course, it
owner
was
of.
a sunrise. Yeah.
Yeah, and, yeah, he brought it there, and then he was in the year above me, and I didn't even meet him, and I saw him playing Kendama for a few months and didn't think much of it, and then closer friends of mine who I was in class with, they got it. They got interested in it, and then we put our order in through Kendama USA, actually, which
Wow.
in hindsight, really stupid.
Was sunrise down the street? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Kendama France already existed,
Oh, word.
and there's Kendama Europe.
Yeah, there's
There's
Kendama
already
CZ.
Yes, those already existed for sure, but it's like, I don't know, that
Google.
one of the friends got hooked on, Jake Ween's promo, I think.
Yeah.
Like, it was, I think, the pro mods, the 2015 pro mods. So my first Kendama was actually a Zach Yord pro mod. The Sassafras Tama with a beach can,
Yeah.
and I had no idea he was from Pittsburgh.
Oh, it's a beautiful kendama. I love that one.
It's one of my favorite, still to this day, it's so dope.
Yeah, it's funny. Like when I was thinking about talking with you today, one of my first thoughts was like, I wonder how much like American kendama influenced anything you did because as a European player, I didn't know how much you were like, I gotta buy European stuff or I'm gonna go support David or whatever. So to hear that you went to Kusa and that Jake was this touch point and that like, was when you
Yeah,
first
very
started kendama
random.
for that first year and you're watching videos, are there European players that are exciting you or is it American kendama that's like exciting
There's a
you?
little bit of both,
Yeah.
but of course, American Kendama, and it still is the most polarizing scene in the world when it comes to content, and especially back then, it was like, and creation and the jumps in level, like the skills, and then how the players exhibited their skills and how they presented themselves. That was mostly it. American Kendama had the most personality when it came to like watching on YouTube and the most content. And the European scene kind of, I think, lagged a little bit on that side. But there was also that, like, of course, when I started like understanding Kendama, that was a year later. So I started playing in 2015. A year later, I moved to the Netherlands. I went to the same store my friend got his Kendama from. Unknowingly, I went to David from Sunrise and I
Yep.
asked him, "Is there a meetup?" And he pointed me to Spike Dama, which
Yep.
some you definitely know, but
Oh yeah.
people in the stats will probably not know.
Tell them what it
Uh,
is.
Spike Dama is, one of the oldest running European, competitions. It hasn't happened in a few years, but it's, the Dutch Kendama Open, and it was run by these two brothers out of a little town next to Rotterdam called Spike Nisa. I think you went 1 year, didn't you?
I don't think I
Did you?
went, but I was a big sponsor of it. Cause isn't it Lionel and his brother who threw it or no?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
It was those 2 with help from the local scene, and
Yeah.
then usually with
Elko
support
and
from the JKA.
mm-hmm.
They were big JK guys, but
Oh
that's
yeah.
basically the first event. And there I met the European scene. And from then on, I was completely obsessed with everything that was happening online. But before that, I'd maybe seen 1 or 2 Kanama videos, and one of them was definitely the Zumadanke video, the Kuma Films one, for sure. But I never had that deep dive, and I just liked it. I just liked playing it. That was really the only thing that I cared. about until I met other people who were like also playing it, and then I got interested because they were interested, and then I was like, well, this is sick. But
So
yeah,
who was the
American
person? Who
Kendama.
was the person like that you were trying to copy? Because like when we all started, we are all like, man, I got to do lunar flips. Like in 2015, you're already past that. You're one of the kids who learned lunars in the first couple months, I would imagine, right? Like what?
No,
No.
because I hadn't seen anything. I hadn't. I
Oh.
could have been. I could have been, but the other problem, well, and it wasn't even a problem. I'm really grateful in a way, but the other thing is I wasn't watching videos for like a year. I wasn't doing anything like
Yeah.
that. I was watching my other friend. Um, yeah, by the time I arrived at Spike Dama, I was really good at two-turn Ken flip pull-up spike, buddy, and two and double whirlwind, and I could do birds pretty well and like other kind of tricks. From then on, the first people I met were the Kendama France people who were already really good, like Tupla, who you've met at EKC, was doing juggles, and then one of the first people I saw was Joris playing, like
Oh,
in person.
dude.
I was like, that dude was hello, like um ahead of his time, not just for Europe but for the world in
Yes.
2016 already. He
Mm-hmm.
was I don't I didn't understand, but I know now he was one of the best players in the world.
Yeah, I wanted to
Um,
sponsor him so many times and it just like never worked out. But he was always in Europe. I was always most excited to watch him play because he played the most like an American, I guess. Like he seemed like the one who could fight against our style. You know, it
yeah,
was
and he still can, and he did for years where
yeah.
I knew he was the guy. Like he could do all the stilts, he could do all the technical tricks, he could do
Mm-hmm.
all the balance tricks, he could juggle. He was one of the most well-rounded players, and he still is. He's
Yeah,
nuts. I've seen him recently or like last year as well, and he's still crazy.
I saw
He's
him at
still
EKC last year. He
yeah,
came and said, "What up?"
yeah, he's
It was
still
so
sick.
nice to see him.
But I mean, the player that all European players back then going to events were looking up to in a way was Rolf, because Rolf was winning everything. He was miles ahead of all of us except for Joris, and Joris wasn't traveling to many events. So
Sure.
I saw Rolf the most. I tried to emulate Rolf the most, and Rolf was
Dang.
winning everything. And he was one of the only players going to America, going to Japan. So that's why he was our like
Wow. Did
like
yeah,
he
I
was
get yeah, he was your like Gallagher or your
yeah,
whoever.
for
Like he was
sure.
the dude that you assumed they were going to win and if someone beat them, they were stoked to beat them type of vibe. I remember that year. It was 1 year or 2 years where well, it was one whole year where Ralph didn't lose a European competition and
No,
most
it was a year and a half or 2, yeah.
yeah, it
And then
was
he started
insane.
losing. He
Yeah.
started losing to the squad. Like
Mhm.
Tim started winning, and there was players like Davide or like me getting better, and like
Mhm.
yours would take the odd win off, and then players like Boji. I don't know if you know Boji
Mhm.
from maybe from Instagram some point, like who beat him in open one time, and we were all like shook. And then oh no, and then Oscar also. Oscar was
Oh,
also crazy good.
Oscar was insane. He was a
Yeah.
young Crom prodigy, wasn't he?
No, Oscar, no, he was on the team. Yeah. And then of course Benji and Marcus were also players. And
Mm.
I only met Benji like a year later, and that was someone else. But by then I think I had one of the craziest progressions. Like I in a way, like I go back sometimes and I watch and I'm like, the hell? Like I didn't notice at all that I was like I went from not knowing how to juggle to being able to do like 3-2-1 tap within like a few, probably like less than a year. Like
Dang,
not
that's
even
so
not being able to
fast.
juggle big cup to 3-2-1 tap.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Like that had to have been the only trick you practiced. Like you must have just hyper focused on that skill set.
It kind of, but I did a bit of everything. But I played a lot of Kanama for like after that competition. I completely lost interest in school, and I was like, I'm gonna play Kanama for a while now. And then like
What were you going to school for?
something boring. Something crazy boring.
What
I was
boring
doing
thing?
like freaking law.
Uh,
It's so boring.
I
The
mean,
worst.
that's still a cool thing to say you were doing, going to law school. That's kind of not an easy thing to do.
No, but I was just sort of like misguided. Like, you know, when you're I don't know if it's the same. I know it's
There's
sort
a
of the same.
path you think you're supposed to follow.
Yes, and that's worldwide. And then
Yes.
it's like this school. side of it where you feel that pressure from the school, and then not even necessarily from my parents, but just from the school mostly. And then yeah, I ended up ditching that, and then I moved back home to my parents for a little bit, and then like traveled, like worked and took all the money I had traveling to Kendama events, and then like I also spent like basically 2 months on a beach. Like I was
That sounds sick.
keeping a surf hut. I was like the guy, like basically you have a surf hut on a beach. It's an abandoned. It's like a very like isolated beach, and they need someone to watch all the surf equipment at night. So some dude sleeps in the corner, and that was me. And it was like I had like my bed, and I could wake up every morning, go surf, like chill, and
What?
I would just spend my yeah. It's a pretty like normal thing here, and or it was in France,
In Toulouse,
and
because you're on the water, yeah?
like 2 hours away, so really
Mm.
close. But it's like it's where they had the World Surf League, so it's not just Joe surfs.
Oh.
It's a really good surf
It's a
spot, and
real. Do you know the name of the wave?
it's the beach. It's Osgore, Osagor, it's called. And now I don't
Okay.
think it's on the World Surf Tour anymore.
Oh, word.
It wasn't like a particular wave. It was just like a whole beach,
Just that,
and
yeah.
it's crazy. It was crazy good.
Do you ever have to
And I
fight anyone off?
for waves?
No, for surfboards. You were watching over them at
Oh,
night. Did you
that
ever have to fight off
no,
any
no. I was
stealers?
chilling. I was chilling. I had no power. I had no. I had no running water.
So they couldn't expect you to
I
do much except, hey, get out of here, right?
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much. There wasn't much to do, honestly. It was locked down, but it was a crazy good experience. And whenever I wasn't surfing or doing anything, I was playing Kendama, and I played maybe like 6 hours a day for 2 months. Back when you could play like on end with
yeah,
no repercussions on your body, and you were
yeah.
just like, I am invincible.
Well, how old
So
are you
I
now?
now I'm 25.
Oh, okay. Well, you're still pretty close to invincible. You're getting, I think your metabolism starts slowing down right about now. So you're going to have to start watching what you eat soon. And
I I
then your
I
body
already
will start hurting more as you get closer to 30.
I've already got that. Like, I mean,
Oh,
I had tendonitis
oh, yeah,
on
that's right.
you remember that? But now
Yeah.
it's a lot better.
Oh, good.
I've been doing my exercises, my stretching, like I have my rubber band,
Yeah. I got one of
and
them.
yeah, and I'm like rehabilitating it, and it's been like I just spent 12 days playing kendama, and I capped it off with my first open win, which is crazy.
Dang. Oh, yeah. I wanted to talk about that, dude.
Yeah,
Holy. You've
I've
been
never.
on a tear the last couple weeks at some events in Europe. Tell us about them.
Yeah, so first event was Kendama Italia Open, which was dope. Happened in northern Italy near Milan. Beautiful event, like
Beautiful.
great food, great people, wonderful spot. It's like in a rec center kind of, but slash like kind of hostel, so everyone stays together, super chill. The event was great. That one I just judged because I went into this whole trip being like, I'm not competing. My head is not in it. I'm in EKC mode. Um, and also there's a lot of competitors, but there's not a lot of judges. There's not a lot of other people
Mm-hmm.
who are helping. So it's like I need to like I know what I don't know. It's this weird sentiment I have sometimes, like especially in the lead up to EKC, where I'm like, do I need to do anything anymore? Do I need to compete if it's not like incredibly fun? Like my value is
Mm-hmm.
somewhere else. I feel like I'm doing other stuff that's more important, and like I love watching competition as well. And then if I'm not competing, I'm in the headspace of learning from what's happening around me and taking it back to EKC and making that better. So I was like, eh. And then I got to BKO actually, and Rob Henman uh, was judging, and I was like, they don't need a judge. They have
Yeah.
Rob Henman. And so I was like, all right, then. And then the guys like we were partying, and they're like, yeah, dude, you gotta compete. And I was like, all right, fine. And then on the morning of the competition, I just signed up, and I was just like, all right, this could be fun. And it's like a kind of like a reminiscent of like the old British Kendama Association trick, so you could feel that flavor,
Yeah.
dead body trick I told you, and there's
Yeah,
like
the void tricks, dude.
some funky tricks.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then just had a really good run, felt really good on stage. I had a really good kendama on me where I was like, "Whoa, this is cool. I'm enjoying playing this." It's and then I just yeah, it just kind of happened.
Took
I
it down. You won the whole thing, and there were real gnarly players in the open
yeah,
division.
yeah, there was great level, high competition, hard tricks, weird tricks, so it was kind of good equalizer. And then I had a really good match with Tom Pannenden at the end, where he had some unlucky misses and so did I, so it like kind of dragged on. And then it arrived at quad J and we were both sweating. It was 4-4 and none of us hit it and we were like, "Oh, dang." And yeah, and
Quad
then
J,
yeah, it's a
psycho.
hard trick. It's a hard trick. Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
tricklets are getting hard. Some of them.
Yeah,
And then I
dude.
and then I the last trick was like stunt plane 1.5 pop out the house inward like one turn stunt plane. Pretty
Yep.
classic. And so I took it down on that one. But on one of my previous matches, one of the other players stunt plane was like I don't know if it was I'm not gonna say it wasn't stunt plane because to me it definitely looks stunt plane, but the judge is the judge and he went so I won on a missed stunt plane. It
Oh.
may or may not have been, like, under this line, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that was a crazy one too. And Tom Paddington, one of the tricks was one turn lunar, like quarter barrel to dead body, like free quarter barrel to lunar, and then
Yeah.
barrel in, like full barrel in. And then Tom did one where it was like a free quarter barrel, and he also got the big X.
What?
Yeah, it was a crazy one because it's hard to judge when the barrel
Y-
goes all the way.
Yeah,
And
dude.
Tom himself was like, "Nah, I missed the barrel in." And I was like, "What do you mean you missed the barrel in?" And
LVKO
so
had the same trick, and we were all trying to like discuss what in the world was right and wrong for
complicated.
minutes and minutes. And it was like, dude, this is not a trick for an open division. This is a funsy trick. How are you supposed to know what's 270 and what's 360? Like, it's so
It was
hard.
nuts. I wanted to over rotate it so bad, like just go for
Mm-hmm.
triple, and I was like, "Ah, it definitely went over one." But I knew from the judges, like, there was no way they would have taken anything else than a perfect one. And then I hit the trick, so I got a point on that one. But yeah, in the end, it was really fun just competing, and it's crazy taking down an open comp before EKC, like
I
the
mean,
last one.
have you done that
It's
before, period? Like,
I've never won open. No, I've come so close. Oscar always beat me. Oscar, I've been in like maybe 4 open finals in Europe, and then I've done pretty good. I've done pretty good at NACO Online and like Battled the Border. I did top 8
oh,
this year.
yeah.
I was pretty good, but it's like I've never won open, and I definitely wanted to at some point. But I was also like, it's funny. It came on the day I really didn't think about it. I
Isn't
was
that
like,
how it
I didn't.
goes?
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, that's when you're most relaxed sometimes. And if you have like the skill set to of the trick list, because you can have a great skill set and it doesn't match with the trick list. So I got lucky in that way. Like one of the tricks in the final, I didn't know what it was. I had to ask for like
Yep.
explanation, but it was pretty straightforward. It was like backflip and then like insta lighthouse inward flip, insta backflip. So it was like pretty okay, yeah. But yeah, I had fun. It was crazy. The atmosphere was great at the British Kendama Open. Then I judged freestyle. So I won open and then judged freestyle, and I'm also not sure if anyone's ever done that before either. That's just a weird one. I
Yeah.
was like on high, and then I was like, all right, now I have to sit for 2 hours of freestyle.
Well, I mean, at least you weren't like, oh, I should be in that freestyle taken down first. You're like, oh, I already got my trophy. Like, I'm chilling.
It was thrilling, and then great freestyle. Like Jacob Schultz was going off, and like
Nice.
Tom did crazy good, and
Who
then
won it then?
Davide had some crazy runs. Added a lot of spice to his like stock flow and a lot of
Sick.
cool tricks. And yeah, he ended up taking it down. And but yeah, it was just good fun.
That's dope, dude.
Good fun. And European Kendama events are always like hit just right. Like a lot of pre sessions and post sessions. Like a lot of chilling in parks and hanging out and mobbing around filming. Yeah, so I had a good time. Like
Such old school vibes, dude. I love it. I love it.
yeah,
And in 3 weeks, we'll be there experiencing it, dude. And I want to talk a little bit about EKC, but first, I would be remiss if we didn't talk about grain theory at all and how you connected with Jake and how that came to be. Because along your story, that's one of the things I have missed. And So take me to the year. Take me to like this moment in time where like you're getting really good at kendama and you're getting noticed, and like
Yeah.
how do you connect with Jake and
That's an interesting one as well. So the year is 2018. The month is August or July. No, wait, is that even possible? No, it's beginning of July. And basically, I'd been going to Kendama events in Europe nonstop for like a year and a half at this point. I'd been playing less than 3 years at this point still,
mm-hmm.
but I was already like placing really high at European competitions. I hadn't won one yet, but I was like this close. And like just doing a lot in the community, already throwing sessions and jams and gearing up to throw my first event. And I essentially just heard from Kendama France. They were like, "Yo, Grain Theory is coming to France. They're going to the Japan Expo in Paris, which is the largest Japanese cultural exposition outside of Japan." So it was like really cool spot to go. First of all, I was like, "Yeah, I kind of want to go there." And GT had a booth there, and they were gonna be there for like 4 or 5 days. And it was Jake, Rice, Stott, and Ben,
Oh, word.
and they were coming over from the US to basically have a booth there and teach literally thousands of people Kendama. But you're familiar with the whole expo game
Yep.
with the like basically that concept. But the one thing that they didn't have was a French speaking person for when they were going to do demos on stage
Yep.
and to help them at the booth if necessary. And so Kendama France put me in touch with them as the resident like French English speaker there, even though they also had Oscar, who also came.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they invited me and I went, and then basically I met Jake outside the expo park, and he gave me my pass. Like for the that's when I met that's how I met Jake Queens.
Got
Um,
you.
and I think this was just after he had gone full GT. He had left Konami USA only a few months before,
Oh, wow.
and at this point they didn't have a European player yet. But this was also the first time that he went to Europe as GT. He had been to Europe as Kusa
Yep.
before, like the Romania and stuff, but not as GT. And so yeah, like basically I went up with them on stage to do a demo in front of a few hundred people, and like we were like hitting it off. Like I was speaking in French and him in English, and then out of nowhere he asked me to do a demo. Like he's like, "Yo, what about Tio? Can you throw down?" And I had like I remember I'm looking at the Kendama I had right now. It's right on my wall, and it was this prefect skate ply with a
Oh.
natty like maple like tiger. Do you remember tiger maple?
Yes, of course.
Crazy. And so I was playing natty, which was a really big GT thing. And then I threw down like one of the craziest freestyle runs I'd ever done, like right there and then. And they were like, "What the hell?" This dude was just here to like talk with us. They hadn't really seen me play Kendama, and they were like, "Wow, so he can really play Kendama in front of a lot of people, and he knew how to present himself, and MC." And then from then on, like I hung out with the team the whole time. You know, drank a good amount,
Yeah,
had
yeah.
had good food, and talked to them, and they saw I was motivated, and I told them a little bit about everything I was doing and the events I was going to, and they were like, "Okay, sick." And initially, I wanted Rice to put in a word. I don't think I've ever said this actually live or to any like. I
mm-hmm.
wanted Rice to put in a word for me at Terra,
Well,
because I really liked Terra and their Kanamas, but and to be honest, I didn't really have any optic that I was gonna be on GT. I was like, GT is a little bit maybe like too sick,
yeah,
because
yeah.
this was sort of the peak at back then of like GT's like kind of influence and
Selling
like
out and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, and like they had just gotten the E1s and all that stuff, but like they were
Mm-hmm.
still like it like Ben Harold was in his prime of his like life. Nick
Yeah.
Stott was Nick Stott
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of thing. And then yeah, I mean from then on I just Stott gave me a Kanama. He gave me my I'd already had a GT, but he gave me like an E1 and he was his own, and I played that for a while and tagged GT and a bunch of stuff, and then a few weeks later I was just like I cold DM'd Jake Weens. I was like, Jake, I'm really interested in being part of the team. Like, what's up with that? And I didn't get a response for a few days. And I was super stressed about it. But it turns out that's when Isla was born. So of course it
Oh,
was for me. And one evening, I'm with my family, and like I just get a message from Jake, like, "Yo, like, we're super down to have you on as the first European player." And then like I already had the whole announcement edited, filmed, pretty much
dang, let's go.
before, before even knowing. I had already filmed other stuff, and I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, "All right, I already have what I need." And then I went back to Amsterdam, met up with Harold Boyson, and Harold and I filmed the end of my edit, and that's my GT story.
Wow, that's so cool, man. Holy. What a
Yeah.
what a crazy turn of events. You just got to put yourself out there sometimes and you never know what
Yeah,
can
dude.
happen, right?
Yeah, you gotta ask and you gotta sell yourself the best you can. And that's what I did. And Jake responded to it. And then, yeah, then went forth all the things I've done with Jake over the years, which is a
Yeah.
lot of stuff,
So
a
much
lot of
stuff.
stuff. Like,
Dude,
and yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty much GT story for me.
Mm-hmm. And then I mean, that is a good story. I didn't know all those details because I had many people come and work my booth and stuff and help me out. So I can imagine how he must have been like, "What in the world? Who is this ringer that I got sent to help me today?" So that's such a fun way to like make a friend to meet
Yeah, and
somebody
it's
new. It's cool.
a bonding experience. They were in
Yeah.
France for the first time, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
I knew Paris from having been there a lot before, and I got to show them my spots, and it was like Harold's birthday one night, and he just rolls up under the Eiffel Tower with this bottle, and it's like neon green bottle, and I was like, oh
Oh,
my god. I know what that is. It's and Jake
absinthe.
didn't know. He was like, "What's that?" And then he froze like a glow stick in it. And we were like, "This is the most sketchy looking, like, evening ever about to happen." But there was a lot of us, so it
Yeah, it
was
was
chill,
fun.
but it was great fun. And, yeah,
Dude,
that's
and if you want to have more fun like that, you need to come to the EKC. Oh wait, it's sold out, dude. Holy cow.
yep, yep, that's,
Third year of EKC and you've got the place fully sold out, man. Can you believe it?
no. So
Nope, he says.
I mean, I can, and in a
Yeah.
way, because I did tell everyone, but when it happens, it's actually it was obviously a lot weirder than,
Mm-hmm.
you can't prepare yourself for the eventualities of being in this position in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew it would happen, and I told everyone a million times, get your tickets, get your tickets. Like, we've sold X amount. But yeah, I mean, like 2 years ago we had 300. Last year we had 400. This year 500. So we were on an uptrend, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I didn't want to move venue this year, even knowing, because it's hard to move venue, as you know.
Yeah.
It's it's crazy hard to move venue, and um, I knew that this year we could get more people coming, but I didn't expect exactly what happened, and yeah, now every day I get messages from people saying, "Yo, I need a ticket," blah blah
Oh
blah.
man.
Just like, I mean, I told you, and the other day I got a message from someone in the U.S. who had already bought their ticket to
Oh,
come here and didn't
dang.
have a ticket for the event. But then there's always that resale market, and it exists in Kendama as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been like wrangling tickets from people and figuring out like how to like
No
get them to
way.
people who need them. Yeah, I mean, like if like just yesterday someone told me like, "Yo, I can't come. I have a ticket." So like whoever when people like send me that,
Yeah.
uh, I just put it aside and then I put them in touch with yeah, those people. But now it seems to have slowed down, thankfully, and
Good.
people have understood. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's completely sold out. I'm over the moon. We're completely packed. I'm making some changes to the venue because it's a club. So when it says 500 person capacity, that's 500 dancing individuals and not people like milling
Selling
around
and yeah.
and
Playing
like that
kendama.
stuff. So we have the backstage open, which was already open last year, but that's exclusive at the Wee Bar. This is the only event where the backstage is open. Then we have the backyard, and we're closing off a section of the street in the back as well to make more space.
Wow. Dang.
So So there will be more space in the back because essentially EKC, the only time everyone's inside is freestyle.
Yeah.
That's the only time. And the rest of the time it's pretty divided. So if I can make the space outside bigger, it'll just feel like last year. And the only time it'll be more packed is for freestyle, but the then by then the booths will be closed and put away. And you remember those huge poles in the room?
Yeah.
Those should be gone as well for the event if everything goes well. And then like yeah, there's still some space in the back. And there's no one sitting at EKC freestyle. Everyone's standing. So
Of course, with the
but
bullet, dude, we gotta make sure. And then we have the
but
stream set up this year, so we shouldn't have any catwalks in the way. We shouldn't have. We should have a nice, clear view of the stage with more camera angles and even
yes.
better setup than last year. So
Yeah, I mean that's what happens. You need to there's a progression on every front, and like the goal I guess as an event runner is to make micro adjustments every year and get it better. And this year I feel like I've made a lot, and it's going to be good, but it's because I know the space well. But like I don't know, it's daunting having to move, and next year 2025 will definitely be the year I have to move, and it's definitely going to be daunting in a different way where I have to, and I know you know because you've done it many times, and
hmm
it's just about setting up pretty much as close as possible to your vision, but in a new space, working with new people, and that's hard.
that's the
That's
biggest
really hard.
difference. Yeah, you the space, the people who work at the club, they get your vision. They know what they're to expect when you go to a new space. Just to even get them to get a picture in their head of what's going to happen is always a little difficult. But I know you can do it. Where there's a will, there's a way. Because we've been to 6 different hotels now and a bunch of different spaces. And once you run one, you kind of know the minimum requirements of what you need to pull off a 500-person event, and then you work up from there based
Yeah,
on how much you can grow. And I'm excited. It's like one of those things. I've since I started Sweets Kendamas, I've wanted a European event to go to each year, and I went to EJC's in Toulouse. Actually, it was one of my first in
yeah,
2014. I went to Leeds in 2015. I went to different events to try to connect myself with Europe, and it was always difficult because there was never a unified front. And I feel like you have done that for everyone in Europe to bring them together once a year at very least from all their countries to enjoy
yeah.
kendama together, because more than the United States, you guys are like in your own places a lot, and like you don't
It's very
go to
different.
different places as much, I think, in the way that we do and travel and see each other. So I think your event has helped grow European kendama. I think it's helped grow the kendama scene period, because people who own businesses in Europe have a reason to look forward to something, a place to sell damas.
Yeah,
Like it's a lot that has grown from what you have started. And not that you started it, I mean you took it over from other people, right? Like that's it was a different thing before you gave it your vision. And I think it just like NACO, like any big event, it just takes that person that says, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it my way. And if it works, cool. If not, then we'll do something else. But it takes someone like you with a lot of motivation and like, yeah, you have no reason to do it, bro. There's literally like, it's love and motivation, and like, you
yeah.
love kendama like I do, and you don't own a company. And so I think people who are listening to this or get to watch it, like, take inspiration from Tio, because he didn't do anything that none of y'all can't do with a little practice and a little bit of communication and reaching out. And anything's possible, dude, always.
It's yeah, it's about I mean fostering connections, and
Mm-hmm.
like Kendama community is a giant pool of talented and motivated and like honestly very generous individuals. It's like we're all like a lot of our friends' successes are our successes in Kanama. And it's like you have to learn how to leverage that into your vision as well. It's like yeah, I've Kanama event running is a lot about lobbying and traveling a lot. Like and I
Yeah.
think maybe that's sort of what separated me as well personally from a lot of the other people who were running the big European event is that like I had been to NACO's, I had been to Battle of the Border, I'd been to Japan like 4 times. I'd seen everything, and especially I had just immersed myself into the community worldwide. Like I'd spent a month in California with Ben like meeting people in California. I'd gone to NACO online randomly. You remember in
Yeah.
2021? It's
Mm-hmm.
like all these random little pieces of experience are what really can make up these connections, like staying on someone's couch, that kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like my biggest piece of advice for anyone who wants to do this is really like don't don't discard all those little pieces of experience. Like, don't let yourself be like completely um like I don't know, like what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's not so daunting as it seems, the logistical part. The logistical part is daunting, of course, but it's not as scary as it can be, and all the other experiences you've had will be valuable, and you'll slowly it's just a jump, it's
Well,
a
yeah,
huge
that's
jump.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to be willing to go all in, I think,
Yeah,
is the point. Like,
there's a
you were sleeping at your parents' house and spending all the money in the world you had going to kendama events, to
yep,
like
pretty much.
do this thing. And I'm not telling everyone in the chat or even think that you have the ability to do that, but like without people like Tio, like events like this just don't happen. Events like without Chad, events like Battle at the Border don't just happen. It's a really hard thing. But that being said, the more we have, the more legitimacy it gives to our sport and to the people who see
Yep.
it and to people who get introduced to it. So, it's got to keep growing. I'm excited to be back at EKC, dude, and I'm excited for like the biggest announcement for the stream that we've ever had on Friday. We're gonna do a pre-KC, so
Yeah.
tune in if you guys want to know. Friday night we have a really big announcement for the sweet stream in EKC. We have a huge surprise for y'all. So make sure you tune in Friday because you're not gonna want to miss it. Aside from the
No.
awesome competition with the crazy tricks you pick, dude. Holy.
Also, yeah. And also, if there's anyone here who feels like they want to take on the competition, you should also look into signing up. And I mean, we'll be talking about it more like tomorrow, especially on Friday. But
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, it's a $5 entry and winner takes all,
Yep.
and that's pretty much it. And yeah, I mean, it's gonna be sick. I'm excited to see. Like, hopefully, there's a few people who are actually competing who are gonna come up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're actually competing, I think Johnny signed
Oh
up.
yeah,
Did
Johnny
Johnny?
Kress is, yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. It's like
He's
what kind of
coming
fear
for it, dude. It's
factor?
his first time in Europe, man.
Yeah,
And with the Gallagher's gone from our squad, he now ranks as one of the best open players on the team. So like, he's
absolutely.
it's his first go at it as like the dude. Him and I everyone on
And
Sweets is good
Minoka.
in their own right, but him and Josh Kim are kind of like the two who really go super ham. Josh Grove. There's a few of them. And Johnny's so hungry that he's coming to the EKC, dude, for his first time. Sleeping in a tent, like maybe his first time doing that. Like he
Really?
is.
I hope not.
I mean, dude, he's full Hawaiian. What do you think they be? They don't be
They're
camping
sleeping on
out. And
sand.
no, he
Yeah.
didn't wear pants until he came to Minnesota for the first time, bro. Like he,
Oh, I hope it doesn't rain for him.
yeah, nah, he'll make it through, dude, one way or
Yeah,
another.
he's a young gun.
Yeah. But no, man, I'm really excited. It's one of my favorite events of the year. I don't get to do a ton of traveling this year, so it's one of my only international events. So I'm excited to come hang with you. You always are a gracious host, and the stream is one of the funnest of all time because of the players you get to the event. The Japanese players that are coming are just on a different level, and so if you're not able to come to Europe, please tune into the stream because we will be there documenting the craziness as it unfolds,
And
dude.
there's gonna be a lot of I hope a lot of sweet, like crazy moments, like just you going absolutely wild, and I think there will be,
Yeah.
because and there's also just the other big facet is just the crowd is gonna be just, yeah, just come for the vibes, come watch, and for the DJs we have a crazy DJ lineup coming.
The best
I have
music,
it now.
dude.
Dude, Jake Weens is calling me. Sorry, Jake Weens.
Oh,
Dismissed.
jeez. Jake Weens, get out of our interview, bro.
I'll call him after this.
Yeah.
What the heck? How does he not know I'm Jake Weens?
Come
Come
on,
on, man.
man. This is
Into the Twitch stream, Jake Weens.
we got a different podcast together, man. You don't got to clomp on this one, dude. Jeez.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm just so excited. Yeah, the crowd's gonna be crazy. The DJs are crazy. I'm announcing those soon. I have new DJs this year. I employed the help of DJ Salvador Aldi, of
I
course.
was just gonna say, Win 1 2 better be on there, dude.
He is. He and his friend Bodo have a huge back-to-back during the Open. They're doing the whole Open division, like
Dang.
4 or 5 hours. And then one of all
Awesome.
these friends, local funk legend, is also DJing freestyle, and yeah, we have crazy stuff coming. And yeah, crazy players. I mean, Yasu, Takuya, also the Gallaghers are coming.
Yeah,
Uh,
dude.
Keith Matsumura randomly. Like, I don't know who else. Johnny Crest, Nanoka, Grove, Austin D, Kelvin. It's just everyone coming for glory, and
Dude.
it's just gonna be fun, man. I just have a feeling it's just gonna be fun.
It always is, dude. From the pre-jam to the pre-jam to the after post jam, everything's fun, dude. It's never ending party for like a week straight. So, thanks for giving us your time, though, Tio. I know it's getting late over there in Leiden, and you got big things to plan. We're 3 weeks away from your event. We're excited to come hang. I'm stoked to learn so much more about you and your Dama life, dude. And
Yeah, it was
we'll
nice.
see
I
you
don't think
soon.
I've ever said a lot of the things that I just said, so it's a cool. Yeah, you touched the right points. So you're definitely a great interviewer.
Dude, I appreciate it very much, man. And I had you give me 5 of your favorite edits
True.
before we started this stream. And so after you log off, we're going to go through a couple of them and pick some favorites and watch ones we haven't watched on stream
Please.
recently.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. There's 2 edits from Oscar in there. If
Oh, okay. So what? Maybe, oh, God, there's
maybe
Penguin Guy, there's Deadlines.
yeah, those 2 are maybe the cool one. And then of course Fringe Case,
Yeah.
one of my favorites, and then the Euro Tour maybe, one that you probably haven't watched much on this,
Mm-hmm.
or and then Bonds' pro edit, because
It's
that's sick edit.
Bonds. Yeah.
Also, Bonds will be coming to EKC as well.
Oh, that's actually one of the craziest. Is he competing?
Yeah, for sure. And
Oh my God.
my secret hope is that Bonds seeing all these kids and that energy in that crowd is just gonna be like, just like ignites that fire in him I know he has, and he'll just
Dude.
be like, wow, I want to get lit like this. And then yeah,
I hope he's
imagine.
practicing as we speak. And as you say that, I haven't had him on the pod. I definitely need to have him on here to chat with him because if there's one
Yeah,
dude who has a couple kendama stories, it's him.
yo, Sam Cannon almost came, and I was almost
Oh,
so I was so excited to see that combo.
the Hague Lord.
Yeah, Sam Cannon Bonds
Yeah,
combo.
dude. Oh
Would have
my
been wild.
gosh.
But
Could lock your fork lifts up, dude. Holy.
the place next door has like a whole like garage full. So
Oh, don't say that. Okay, dude. All right, Tio. Thanks for joining, man. It was really nice talking to you,
thanks for
and
having me, bud.
we'll talk to you soon, buddy. All right.
Yeah, heck yeah. All right, I'll see you soon, sweets.
All
And
right.
see you guys all at the pre-KC on Friday and at EKC May 31st and June 1st. Please tune in.
Yeah. All right. Later on, buddy.
Later. Bye bye bye.